Did you know that Adam and Eve had more children besides Cain, Abel, and Seth? The story of their daughters has been shrouded in the darkness of history until ancient texts like the Book of Jubilees revealed the truth. These mysteries not only challenge traditional understanding, but also open the door to a world filled with secrets and wonders. Who are these figures? And why is their story so important? Let's uncover the forgotten mysteries of the creation era. In this video, I'll take you on a unique journey to unveil untold secrets about the daughters of Adam and Eve. From the records in the Book of Jubilees, the Bible, to ancient traditions, I will shed light on their roles, fates, and significance in humanity's origin story. These figures are not merely descendants. They may hold the key to deeper understanding of the ancient world and spiritual beliefs from the dawn of humankind. If you're curious about hidden secrets and little-known stories, hit like and share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to follow for more intriguing and mysterious insights into the creation era that you've never heard before. One mysterious but rarely mentioned topic in the Bible and theological studies is the story of Adam and Eve's daughters. Although most of the attention is given to famous sons like Cain, Abel, and Seth, the Bible in Genesis 5:4-5 reveals that Adam and Eve also had many other sons and daughters. Specifically, after the birth of Seth, Adam lived for another 800 years and had more children before passing away at the age of 930. However, the Bible does not mention the names of these daughters. Interestingly, extra-biblical texts, such as the Book of Jubilees, provide additional insights about them. This book is part of the New Testament Apocrypha and is often referred to as Lesser Genesis due to its close connection to the Genesis stories. This text not only recounts the creation and lives of Adam and Eve, but also reveals the names and roles of lesser-known characters, including their daughters. Widely circulated in ancient Jewish culture, the Book of Jubilees is considered a highly valuable historical document. The oldest manuscript we have dates back to around 700 BCE, but it is a copy of an even older work. Some scholars suggest that the writer Ezra might have compiled this text, but according to its own content, the Book of Jubilees claims that its real author was Moses, who received visions from an angel on Mount Horeb. The story of Moses spending 40 days and nights on Mount Horeb without food or drink, as recorded in the Bible, further supports this theory. Notably, the Book of Jubilees also mentions connections to another apocryphal text, the Book of Enoch, which was familiar to early Christians and considered an essential part of their scriptures. The overlap between these texts not only complements, but also enriches the stories in the Old Testament, offering a fresh perspective on the roles of forgotten figures in human history. Returning to the main topic, according to ancient Abrahamic Semitic traditions, the story of Adam and Eve's daughters reveals important, yet often overlooked characters. Among them, Avan, considered the first daughter of Adam and Eve, stands out with a highly controversial role. Aklima, also called Kalmana, Lucia, Kainan, Lulua, or Awan, is regarded in some religious traditions as the eldest daughter of Adam and Eve and the sister, or, in many accounts, the twin sister, of Cain. This makes her the first woman born naturally. In Phoenician Hebrew, the name Avan means strength or sin. She was both the sister and the wife of Cain, Adam and Eve's eldest son, who was exiled after murdering Abel. Genesis 4:17 states that after killing Abel, Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. To explain where Cain and Abel found their wives, some traditional sources claim that each child of Adam and Eve was born with a twin sibling who became their partner. In the Book of Jubilees, Avan is described as the mother of Enoch, Cain's first son, for whom Cain built a city in his honor. The city of Enoch, mentioned in the Bible, symbolizes Cain's efforts to rebuild after the family tragedy. According to Islamic tradition, Cain was born with a twin sister named Aklima, and Abel was born with a twin sister named Azarah. Adam wanted Cain to marry Abel's twin, and Abel to marry Cain's twin. Cain disagreed with this arrangement, and Adam proposed submitting the matter to God through a sacrifice. God rejected Cain's offering to signify his disapproval of Cain marrying Aklima, his twin sister, and Cain killed his brother out of jealousy. In another Islamic tradition, Cain's twin sister is named Lucia, while Aklima is the twin sister of Abel. However, in texts like the Cave of Treasures, Avan is referred to by another name, Kalima. According to this tradition, Kalima is identified as Cain's wife and remains recognized as the eldest daughter of Adam and Eve. This name variation reflects the richness and diversity of ancient Semitic traditions. The second daughter of Adam and Eve is called Azura, who also plays a significant role in human history. Azura was married to Seth, the third son of Adam and Eve, born after Abel's death. The name Seth originates from Hebrew, meaning compensation or replacement, symbolizing God's gift to make up for the loss of Abel. Seth is revered in the Bible as a righteous ancestor. From his lineage, humanity continued to worship God. According to genealogy, Seth's line led to Noah, who played a pivotal role in the story of the Great Flood, a defining event in biblical history. The union of Seth and Azura represents not only the beginning of a new lineage, but also a bridge between the initial creation and major events in Judeo-Christian tradition. Their roles underscore the significance of a righteous lineage in maintaining a connection with God and preserving humanity through the trials of biblical history. The Book of Jubilees provides special details about Azura, a lesser-mentioned but important figure in the lineage of Adam and Eve. According to the text, she was also Abel's twin sister, and initially his wife. After Abel was killed by Cain, Azura became a widow. When Seth came of age, he married Azura, marking the beginning of the righteous lineage from Adam. This rare detail sheds light on the role of Adam and Eve's daughters in preserving humanity's bloodline. According to the Book of Jubilees, Azura was born in the 6th week of the 4th Jubilee and married Seth in the 5th week of the 5th Jubilee. Their union produced a son, Enos, in the 4th year of the 6th week. Upon reaching adulthood, Enos married his sister, Noam, the daughter of Seth and Azura. This continued the tradition of sibling marriages within Adam's lineage to ensure the survival of humanity in its early days. Enos, the son of Seth and Azura, is a prominent figure mentioned in Genesis 5:6-11. His genealogy records that he lived for 905 years, fathered sons and daughters, and carried on Seth's lineage. Notably, Enos is credited with initiating prayer and worship of God. Genesis 4:26 emphasizes that during Enos's time, humanity began to call upon the name of the Lord, marking a pivotal moment in the emergence of religious devotion within Seth's lineage. Enos's role was not just about extending the genealogy, but also about initiating a spiritual transition, where worshiping God became central to the lives of Adam's descendants. This highlights Enos's significance in laying the foundation for a religious tradition, paving the way for major biblical figures such as Noah and his lineage. Information from the Book of Jubilees and the Bible complement each other, creating a more comprehensive picture of humanity's early days. Genesis 5 states that Adam lived over 800 years after Seth's birth, during which he had many sons and daughters. This demonstrates that Adam and Eve were extraordinarily prolific compared to anyone else in history. Ancient traditions even estimate that they had hundreds of descendants. This not only reflects Eve's exceptional fertility as the first woman, but also suggests that the early context of humanity was conducive to population growth. By comparison, the Guinness World Records attributes the highest number of children to Valentina Vassiliev of the 18th century, who bore 69 children in 27 pregnancies. However, with Adam and Eve's lifespans extending to 930 years, their reproductive capacity far exceeded modern records. Modern studies such as mitochondrial DNA, commonly called mitochondrial Eve, reinforce the idea that all of humanity shares a single female ancestor, aligning with the belief that Adam and Eve were the origin of humanity. An intriguing aspect of ancient texts is the ethnic and racial diversity originating from Adam and Eve. According to traditions, Adam and Eve had a mixed origin, and their descendants reflected this diversity across generations. This not only supports the notion that all of humanity comes from a common source, but also emphasizes that today's cultural and ethnic richness is a legacy from our earliest ancestors. These stories, whether preserved in ancient texts or analyzed through modern lenses, remind us of the shared connection humanity has and illuminate the mysteries of Adam and Eve's sons and daughters. Looking back at humanity's origins in the context of the fall on Earth, we confront an undeniable reality. Human history began with sibling relationships, which are now considered incest. To understand this issue, we must analyze it from historical, genetic, and theological perspectives. In modern times, the prohibition of incest is grounded in practical and ethical considerations, upheld across most cultures for centuries. A primary reason for this ban is the risk of genetic disorders. When both parents share the same genetic makeup, especially as siblings, the likelihood of harmful mutations in their offspring significantly increases. This raises the risk of congenital diseases and more severe health issues than in previous generations. However, in Cain and his wife's case, the context was entirely different. Cain and his wife, recorded as children of Adam and Eve, belonged to the first generation of humans created. Theologically, Adam and Eve were crafted by God's perfect hand, free from genetic disorders. Thus, their children did not face the genetic risks encountered in modern times. Marriage between Cain and his sister was a necessity in an early world where no humans outside their lineage existed. At this time, such unions posed no genetic risks or moral conflicts as perceived today. As humanity grew over generations, the increasing number of descendants led to genetic diversification. During the patriarchal era, expanding family lines created more distant relationships. This is when the prohibition of incest became necessary, not only to safeguard genetic health, but also to establish ethical and social foundations for increasingly complex communities. This view is supported by modern genetic theories and religious principles that shaped human morality over millennia. Today, the subject of incest remains widely condemned across most societies. This stance is not only rooted in genetics, but also influenced by cultural perceptions and collective psychology, where incest is seen as violating the natural moral order. To gain deeper understanding, we must place Cain and his wife's story within its unique historical context, where humanity's survival depended on maintaining the lineage through sibling relationships in the first generation. The Bible not only addresses incest, but also establishes a clear moral framework to prevent such relationships among the faithful. In Genesis 2:24, it lays out the foundational principle of marriage. A man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. This implies that a young man should leave his family to seek a partner from another family, avoiding marital ties within the same lineage. This serves as both a social guideline and a reflection of God's divine intention to create diversity and harmony within the human community. Additionally, the Bible explicitly prohibits incest. In Leviticus 18:9, God commands, "You shall not uncover the nakedness of your sister, the daughter of your father, or the daughter of your mother, whether born at home or elsewhere." This stern warning underscores that familial relationships in marriage violate not only societal norms, but also the Creator's will. The Bible doesn't merely forbid incest, but also recounts its painful consequences, as illustrated in 2 Samuel 13. Amnon, King David's eldest son, raped his half-sister Tamar. This act not only caused deep trauma to Tamar, but also led to a tragic chain of events. Tamar's brother Absalom avenged her by killing Amnon, causing deep divisions in the family and ultimately leading to Absalom's own downfall. These accounts show that incest not only disrupts family order, but also results in grave consequences for society as a whole. Some people attribute the repulsion toward incest to genetic risks, as blood relations increase the likelihood of genetic disorders in offspring. However, from a theological perspective, incest is seen not only as a biological risk, but also as a violation of the divine order established by God. As one reflection states, "Whatever makes God shudder should also make us shudder." Incest is not just a legal transgression, but also a rupture of spirit and morality. Deep down, the human soul recognizes when something goes against the divine will. Thus, following the Bible's laws is not merely an act of obedience, but a way to maintain harmony with God's divine plan, protecting humanity from chaos and suffering. What are your thoughts on these stories? Feel free to leave your comments or suggest other topics you'd like me to explore in the future. Don't forget to follow the channel and turn on notifications to stay updated with our latest videos. May God always watch over and protect you.